Hello, I think I'm live. I'm going to check on my iPad here just to make sure. Okay, there I am. Hi, everybody. Let me know where you are from. That would be great. Oh, thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Thank you for wishing me special days. How nice. I love it. And Miriam, you're back. Nice to see you. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. Again, you know who I am, Jennifer from Tarle Speech. And I have been in business 13 years thanks to all of you and for all of your support. So to say thank you, I'm doing 13 days of new videos and free lessons. So you guys get a BOGO today, buy one, get one free, because this weekend was a little crazy in my house and I had to cancel some classes. So anyway, here I am. We are going to work on suffixes today again. On Tuesday, we had a class on how you pronounce S endings. And today, we are going to have a class on how to pronounce ED endings. And it's a very simple rule. It's actually fairly easy to apply if you don't make it too complex. So we're going to do just that. Try to make it as easy as possible. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Oops, there we go. Couldn't find my controls. All right, so hello, Michael from the Dominican Republic and from France. Moussa, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So we're going to talk about the rule for pronouncing the suffix ed. So when we add a suffix, the ed, to a word, we can pronounce it three ways: t, d, or id. Okay, so t, d, or id. Those are our three options. The mistake that I hear the most is that people overuse this id pronunciation because of spelling. So in a lot of languages, the way the word is spelled is the way that you pronounce it. And since you've all been studying English, you realize that is really not the case. In English, spelling is a guide, but oftentimes it just confuses the entire situation. So let's go ahead and look at, when do we say a T? So when a word ends in a voiceless sound, we use another voiceless sound, a T. So you might be asking, what is a voiceless sound? So let's go ahead and let me find myself here. Okay, so everyone go ahead and put your hand on your throat. And I want you just to repeat after me and feel what your throat is doing. So what is your throat doing? Really nothing. Now, let's say these sounds. Go ahead and put your hand on your throat. Z, n, l, b, g, v, a. What's your throat doing there? Vibrating. Yes, exactly. So your throat is vibrating. Your vocal cords are vibrating in your throat, which makes your neck feel like it's vibrating. That is creating voicing. So the first set of sounds that we practiced when we were touching our throat, when nothing was happening, there was no vibration here. Those are voiceless sounds. There's no voicing happening here. There's no voicing. There's no vibration. Compare that to the voiced sounds that we practiced second. And those sounds have vibration here. They have voicing. They're a little stronger, a little harder. And those sounds are voiced. So T, 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 no voice. D, 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 d. That is voiced. So that's the difference. T, no voicing. D, voicing. So if you can figure out, is the last sound of that word voiced or voiceless, then you know which sound to add to the word to pronounce the ED or the D. And the reason this is happening is because what we are trying to do is make our lives a little bit easier, and we'll be able to talk a little bit faster if we just keep our voice on for certain things. Okay, so let's start with these voiceless words here. Let's go ahead and say the word without the ed, tap. And then how does that throat feel? Tap. There's nothing voicing there. So then we're going to add a T. Tap, tapped. Talk, talked. Cough, coughed. Wish, wished. Crunch, crunched. Pass, passed. Fairly easy, correct? Okay, let's try those all again, and then I'll go ahead and take a look at some questions. Tapped, talked, coughed, wished, crunched, passed. One more time. Tapped, talked, coughed, wished, crunched, passed. Okay, awesome. And before I take questions, let's go right into the voiceless so you can hear the contrast. Okay, so I'm going to pronounce the root word, which has a voiced sound at the end, and then we're going to use another voiced sound, that D, 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 D. Okay, so we have buzz, buzzed, clean, cleaned, call, called, tab, tabbed, tag, tagged, love, loved, hire, hired. I should say here as well that a vowel that ends a word is also voiced. So like in the word oh, so snow, I would say it snowed last night if I wanted to add that ed ending. All right, so let's go ahead one more time and say, actually 2 more times through and say these words. Buzzed, cleaned, called, tabbed, tagged, loved, hired. Okay, so one more time. Buzzed, cleaned, called, tabbed, tagged, loved, hired. Okay, does anybody have any questions on that before we move on? Okay, I'm looking at all these. Phil Smith, hello from the state of confusion. That cracks me up. Okay, let's see. And then Miriam, it looks like you're asking how to say vibrate. Vibrate or vibration. Vibrate, vibration. Okay. And hello, Hong Kong. That's awesome. I love your city. It's amazing. And hello from India. Very nice. Okay, for all of you from India, my maiden name, my birth name is Tarle. And from what I hear is that means tramp in some different Indian languages. So I think that's very, very funny. But my name is actually Croatian, Tarle. So not from India, but I do think it's funny that there's a word out there that is kind of silly to describe me. Okay, so no questions then about the lesson so far? Great, we're gonna keep moving on. All right, let me share my screen again here. All right, last one here. All right, so what we're going to do here is, this is the only exception. So if the word ends in a t or a d, we have to add an id, because how weird would it be to say melt or trade? We need to add that vowel in there to make it a little easier. So again, only exception, when we say that id, we are actually going to add another beat to the word and another syllable. So that's why this rule is super, super important. It's mainly because what happens is people add a syllable to a word when they mispronounce it, And then that really confuses your listener because then they're thinking, oh, maybe this is a word that I'm not understanding. And then they start thinking about that. What are they trying to say? And then they lose the rest of your message. So let's try these. So we have melt, and then we're going to add the id because it ends in a T. Melted, trade, traded. Melted, traded. Melted, traded. So again, let's quickly review this. When we have a word that ends in a voiceless sound, which thank you, Nadia, for telling me that I explained it perfectly. I appreciate that. When we have the voiceless sound, we're going to add another voiceless sound, the T. So tapped, talked, coughed, wished, crunched, passed. And then when we have that voiced sound, we're going to add another voiced sound, the D. Buzzed, cleaned, called, tabbed, tagged, loved, hired. And then when we have a word that ends, oh my gosh, I have a little mistake here. When we have a word that ends in an ED, then we are going to add that id at the end. So melted, traded, melted, traded. And again, the big key is that you do not want to overuse this rule here, this ed as id, because if you do, you will mispronounce these words as tapped, talked, coughed, and that is not correct. And you would mispronounce these as buzzed, cleaned, called. Okay, so we only add that extra syllable, that extra beat when we have that T or D for melted and traded. Okay, so last time through, tapped, talked, coughed, wished, crunched, passed, buzzed, cleaned, called, tabbed, tagged, loved, hired, and melted, traded. Okay, well, there you have it. I think we have a few more minutes if you have any specific words that you would like to ask about. I also have another class coming up next at 12:30, and I'm going to be talking about when we pronounce the T sound as a D, which is also referred to as a flat T. You know me, I try to make things as simple as possible. This is about clarity and being as close to maybe an American accent as you choose. You don't really have to use the flap T, but a lot of people are curious about it. And a lot of my students actually do tell me that it helps them with listening more. So Alamo, hello, nice to see you. One thing to remember with this lesson before I go is that how do I practice this? I tell people when you're talking to a friend, or if you're in a business meeting and you can record yourself and then listen for the verbs that you use. You probably use the same verbs often during your conversations and during work. And so write those verbs down and then add that ed ending if they do actually use the ed ending. We have some exceptions. And then practice saying those words so that you have those words down and just really solid so you don't really have to think about it. And then it'll sort of move out to other words a little more without you having to think as much about it, because you're going to get that, you're going to get the rule in your brain, and you're going to be able to kind of, process it while you're speaking a little faster, okay? Okay, so good question. Miriam, how do you pronounce the word headed? So if we look back at our rules, think about the root word. That root word there is head. So if we have the root word head, which word, or I'm sorry, which sound are you hearing there at the end. Head. You're hearing a D sound. So because you're hearing that D sound right here, you're hearing a D sound, so you're going to add an id. Headed. Headed. Okay. So that's a great question, actually, because you want to break it down. So that's, you have the word head. D, d, d. Headed. Headed. Okay. Let's do a couple more before we go. So funny. Now I'm thinking about all irregular verbs when I'm trying to like think of an example here. Okay, I have one. Pick. Pick. My spelling looks terrible there, or my handwriting rather. Let me write that a little nicer. Pick. What sound do you hear at the end of that word? Pick. Pick. The last sound, okay? Because we have two letters, so that's why it's kind of a trick one. So pick. You hear a k, k, k sound. Is that voiced or voiceless? Voiceless. So which sound do we add? T or d? Okay, so we know this one doesn't have any voicing. Pick. So we're going to add this one that doesn't have any voicing. Picked. 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 Okay, so I picked the vegetables. Okay. Any others that you want to try? Yeah, you're right, Nadia. Voiceless sound. Excellent. Okay. Let me think if I can think of another word here. Again, it's so weird because I'm thinking of word go and we'd say went. Or run, we would say ran. So this is how my brain is working today. Write and wrote. Sorry, people. Sing, sang. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hi, Omar. Nice to see you. Let's see. One of my students, I think you're actually from Turkey. One of my students is there right now with his family having a little vacation. Okay, so anybody else have any words? My brain is not working. Drink. Let's just do, this was an example that I used, but I want to do another one. Okay. Clean. Clean. Okay, so you know that. So now, which one do you think you're going to use? T or d? Clean. It's vibrating. So I need to pick the other one that's vibrating. Cleaned. Cleaned. This is a really great way to kind of figure it out. You don't even have to know really what the sound is at the end of the word. You just have to know, does it vibrate or not? And then you add that extra sound, okay? This is also going to help your vowel length because as many of you know, when you use the correct voicing at the end of the word, that makes your vowel sound a little bit longer, which is great. And hello in Brazil. Okay, everybody, I think that is it. So again, I'm going to wait just a couple seconds here to see if anybody has any questions. And while I'm waiting, I do want to apologize for the mistakes that I made in my contractions class on Tuesday. Again, my brain really wasn't working 100% that day, but I really wanted to get that class in because I had skipped it. So I am interested to hear if you think I should take it down. A couple of people have said no, because it's kind of good to even hear that I've made mistakes, which I do appreciate. I think that makes me a little more real, and you know, everyone makes mistakes. Thank you for the little smile. That's so nice. All right, I don't think anybody has any questions. So thank you so much for joining me. If you are looking for more practice, I have books available. Search for my last name, Tarle, that are on Google Play, and they are also on iTunes. And I do have some downloads. on my website if you're interested in those as well. There are different sounds and vowels and consonants. There are word lists, there's audio examples and video on the iBooks. I would love to offer video examples everywhere, but there are size requirements for most places where I have my books listed. If you are looking for videos, you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe. Please share my channel with your friends and spread the word. If you're looking for coaching, I do offer web-based video classes, so it doesn't matter where you live, I can help you out. I'm also in the process of working on making some sort of self-paced classes that'll be available on my website probably in the fall or winter. And as always, please, leave a comment. I get back to all of them unless I miss something by mistake. But, thank you so much for all of your support. I really appreciate it. And I'm actually having a good day via Nguyen. Thank you for watching all my videos. I think he's watched or she has watched all of my videos, which I really, really appreciate. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm so happy you were here, and I'll see you hopefully all again at 12:30. Okay, bye everybody.